Madam President.
Senator from Minnesota.
Madam President, I rise today in support of the Women's Health Protection Act. So I'm here today because I believe, as do most in this country, that people should have the freedom to receive the reproductive health care that they need, including abortion. The Women's Health Protection Act would protect that freedom. Now, I'm the only senator in this body who has ever worked for Planned Parenthood, and I learned firsthand in that job that if people don't control their reproductive lives, they don't control anything in their lives. Working at Planned Parenthood in Minnesota was an honor, and I had the opportunity to hear the stories of patients, each with individual, unique, personal reasons for receiving an abortion. And this is still the case for the patients that visit all these clinics today. So here's one story about a woman named Liz from Edina, Minnesota. At Liz's 18-week ultrasound appointment, Liz's doctor told her that her pregnancy was incompatible with life. She would either miscarry or the baby would die moments after birth. Because of this diagnosis, Liz decided to have an abortion. It was an agonizing experience for her, but she was able to make the decision on her own terms. Another story I want to share today comes from a patient from Minneapolis. At the age of 20, they were in an abusive relationship and found themselves 7 weeks pregnant. They went to Planned Parenthood for their abortion, and that abortion helped them to break from their affiliation with their abuser. They eventually got back on their feet. They could pursue their dream of going to law school and starting a marketing firm and having a family with somebody that they loved. These are the stories of people facing one of the most important decisions we humans will ever make, whether to become a parent. They were able to make these decisions free and for themselves. And we should all have this freedom. We should all be able to make these decisions for ourselves, free from politicians and judges looking over our shoulders, deciding for us. And a majority of Americans, Madam President, agree with this. They agree that abortion should be legal. They understand that reproductive health care, including abortion, is health care. Yet today, the reproductive rights of women in this country are at their greatest risk since Roe v. Wade was decided decades ago. And it's no mystery how we got here. What's happening today is the culmination of a nearly 40-year effort by conservatives in the Republican Party to radically remake the courts. It is 2022, and that moment is here. The Supreme Court seems poised to overturn Roe. And if that happens, half the states in this country will ban abortion entirely. Half the states. So in anticipation of this moment, right-wing Republican state legislatures have been working to pass laws that will gut women's health care and severely restrict our freedom. What this means is that women's freedom and autonomy over our own bodies, our right to reproductive health care, the health care that we need, will basically depend on who we are and where we live. And make no mistake, Madam President, abortion care will always be available to women who have money. It will be poor women and women of color who lose this right. This is why Women's Health Protection Act is so important. We need to listen to the voices of the majority of Americans who agree. Women deserve the freedom and the dignity to make their own decisions about their own bodies and their own lives. But the reality is, we can no longer rely on the courts to protect this right. That is why we need to pass the Women's Health Protection Act. Now, in a few minutes, we will vote on this bill, which would protect the right to abortion in every state. It would advance racial justice. It would limit the structural barriers to accessing abortion care and protect everybody's freedom to make the best decisions for themselves, for their health, for their families, for their futures. Colleagues, I urge you to vote to pass the Women's Health Protection Act. Madam President, I yield the floor.